Hey bookworms! I am going to do a weekly whimsy. I've got our little circular scene here, our nature scene. I've already traced it on. I did a real basic job of that. I'm going to use my watercolor today. So I'm going to move that up, and I've got like my little watercolor palette here with a bunch of colors. This palette is super fun. I always hit the camera. I'm so sorry. I even moved it up today to try to not hit it. Okay, so I always take this little palette with me when I go on vacation because I always try to take time to paint while I'm like vacationing because, like I said, I like to relax and paint and create. So this is a good way to do it. So I've got my water pen here, so I'm going to use that. If you're interested in something like this, I got it on Amazon. It's Artistro, I think is how you say it. But anyway, it's actually a really fun little palette because it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. So I've got my water pen here. I've got my little, I'm actually not sure if this is even what that's for, but I cleaned my brush off on this one. I've never actually looked to see if that's what it's for or not, but anyway. So I'm going to mainly do watercolor with this. So what I'm going to do is get my pad wet, especially in the sky here, and I'm just going to stay within the circle. We're going to see how this works out. So I'm going to grab some of my blue. And I'm going to leave wet spots to create like the clouds. And then I'm going to clean my brush off and I'm going to grab some of this orange. I'm going to add some of this down in here. And I don't want to mix it with the blue because I don't want the green. I don't want it greening. Okay, so we're going to go with that. I'm going to add some darker blue up here at the top. Okay, I like it. All right, and then I'm going to go in. I'm not going to wet the paper first. So this is wet on wet up here. I'm going to do wet on dry down here. And I'm going to grab some like burnt sienna, reddish brown colors and put some of the detail of the rocks in here. I feel like this is a little more of a Western look, but that's okay. And I have plans on going back and adding like some ink into this to definitely give, so you can see I didn't put any of the trees or anything like that in there. I wanted to add that as I went. And this area looks like water to me, so I will add some of that here in a minute. And you can see I got it. I'm trying to make this a little deeper and more intense, closer to the foreground. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze my little water pen here, get some of the water rushed through that so I can clean that off, and then I'm going to pick up some of this dark blue here. And I want this much darker, like I said, in the foreground, so we'll go along this area in here. And I'm gonna try to leave some white. So I'm just sort of going back and forth, and we want it lighter as it goes back. And I'm gonna add a little bit of this dark green through this area. And maybe just a little bit back through there. All right, that looks cool. And then I'm gonna grab the really dark green here, and I'm gonna start putting my trees in. So I'm going to just do a line, and then just do back and forth like zigzags. And I'm just dabbing my brush. And do a couple more of those just like that. Okay, another one. Really tiny little trees. And then I'll make some greenery down here, and then I'm going to do a couple more like that in the background. Just really light pressure. Then I'll do a few over on this side. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab, I've got a really dark, I'm not even sure if this is like green or what here, but we're gonna find out. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna add some shadow, especially to these ones up close. Okay. And then there's trees. Let's see. I guess we'll add some right in here. So at least some greenery down in this area. And then I'm going to rinse my brush off. And then I want to add some shadow to the rocks. I'm going to get this dark grayish brown there. Okay, pretty happy with that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the inking part. So I will grab my paint marker here, and I'm going to mainly dab in really light pressure, especially back here. I don't want it very heavy. And then let's see, I'm going to put a little bit of texture into the trees in the front here. All right, I really like that. Now, if I can get a nice, good, smooth circle. I feel like this is the hardest part. All right, there is our cool little landscape. I feel like that was a fun little different one from what we've been doing. I love your guys' wolves. These are all super cool. I'm excited to see the sunflowers and this little landscape here. So I'm looking forward to it. I love seeing your guys's. I love sharing. And I'm looking forward to seeing your final project too. I will be posting that video still very soon for how to include the lights and that. So I'll talk to y'all soon, and make sure to take time to create. Bye.